Welcome back to a brand new episode of Gen Z BTC. It's me, Satoshi Guapamoto, your favorite Bitcoin educator in the space. And today we're going to be talking about why Bitcoin is about to explode in price. Okay? Right now, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You're just a Bitcoin loving dork. Okay? Right now, you're just a bum. You know what I mean? You're a top ramen eater. Put the fries in my bag, little bro. They're going to say a lot of mean things to you. They're going to blow you off. But in a few months, everything is going to be a lot different. Why is that? Let's go over three of the main reasons why the Bitcoin bull run is so imminent and why it will melt people's faces off and have them begging you for a little bit of advice. Where do I go to buy Bitcoin? What is this? Why is it not dead? I thought it was dead. I was watching CNN. They said it was dead. No, no, no. It is alive and well. Let's go over number one, the halving, right? The halving happened back in April. And the reason why this is such an important market phenomenon is because the scarcity of Bitcoin is effectively doubled every halving cycle, right? So every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that is made per day is cut in half. All right. We have the miners who have those big warehouses of all the machines who are mining Bitcoin. They're guessing numbers. They're hashing for a number that will unlock the block and pay them in Bitcoin, right? These guys, in order to maintain their operations, because electricity ain't cheap, it's hard to run a facility, you have to sell Bitcoin in order to finance your mining cost. All right. And then eventually we get to a point where the miners are done capitulating. They're done selling Bitcoin because they are able to fund their operation and start stacking and saving Bitcoin again. Therefore, that leads to less Bitcoin on the market, which means that there's more room for people to begin price discovery because the Bitcoin itself is becoming more scarce. There are less sellers, and now there's more buyers. The demand is coming up, but the supply is staying the same. In fact, it's getting smaller because of the halving. This is an important market effect. Number two is institutions. This is the year of institutional adoption. 2024 was the year that we got the ETFs. We got that back in January. It's the year that more and more companies have been coming on board and using Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. We've seen more and more banks being allowed to custody Bitcoin and to buy Bitcoin. We've seen sovereign wealth funds investing in Bitcoin. We've seen pension funds investing in Bitcoin. And a pension fund is not going to invest in something unless they see a long-term vision of something, right? We've seen universities investing in Bitcoin. We've seen universities offering classes on blockchain, cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin. We've seen entire nations. We've seen entire countries, okay, buying and mining Bitcoin, all right? The country of Bhutan just mined thousands of Bitcoins. Per capita, they have the most Bitcoin per person. All right. If you were to divide up their Bitcoin holdings by the people in that country, their people in that country have the most Bitcoin per person of anyone else in the world. All right. That's a super small country with thousands of Bitcoin. That's going to take them from somewhat irrelevant. Maybe some people might determine it a third world country or whatever you want to say. They're going to go from the bottom to the top. Their Bitcoin holdings already make up like 1/3 of their GDP. Because they have a vision for the future. Okay, how am I going to elevate my country to a status above where it's at currently? Right now, we're being bullied by larger countries who have stronger currencies, who force us to use their currency. What if we use a currency that wasn't owned or controlled by anybody? What if we used a permissionless, decentralized currency that couldn't be debased or inflated by anyone and has no bias? That's the vision that they're seeing for their future citizens and for the future prosperity of their country. All of these mega players, giant banks, giant asset managers like BlackRock, Fidelity, VanEck, all these big dogs getting into the space. And now with the ETF, people are going to be able to invest large amounts of Bitcoin from the safety of their 401k, from the safety of their Roth, from the safety of their brokerage account. All right. There is no extra complications about it. What they've already been doing, which is buying stocks, buying bonds, buying whatever it is, that process has just been allowed to be easier, right? The on ramps for a huge amount of liquidity and capital has now been created through the institutional adoption of Bitcoin. And then finally, liquidity, right? Global liquidity is a driver of a lot of Bitcoin's market forces. Not just Bitcoin, but all hard, scarce, desirable assets. It just so happens that Bitcoin is the most scarce, the most desirable, the most hard, the most saleable asset. So when liquidity increases, liquidity just being the global amount of money, the amount of money printing that goes on in the system, Bitcoin moves up by a factor of 8. Bitcoin's sensitivity to liquidity is about 80-ish%. Compared to gold, the liquidity sensitivity of gold is about like 14%, something like that. And tech stocks, their sensitivity to liquidity is quite good as well. You're going to see those pump. You're going to see the NASDAQ pump. You're going to see the QQQ pump. You're going to see things even like the SPY, S&P 500, or the Russell. These are all going to pump because of the fact that the dollar is getting debased, which means that the dollar buys you less of that stock. So you have to reframe the way that you think about stuff. If you say that houses are up 50%, as someone who doesn't own a home, right, you not only got poorer because the house is further out of your reach, but also you have to realize the dollar depreciated 50% against the house. It went down 50% relative to houses. All right. With global liquidity going up, with interest rates coming down, with governments trying to incentivize people to borrow, right, in order to stimulate the economy. We're already seeing this in the United States. They're the ones who kind of front run the world, right? People see the United States start cutting rates and upping liquidity, they follow suit. China just massively did a bazooka injection of liquidity into their system to try to meet their quarter 4 growth projections, right? And all of this is already being sniffed out by Bitcoin. That's why it's been going up for the last week. It's already sensing that the market is looking towards a highly liquid, a highly money printing environment, right? A low interest rate environment. And markets are forward looking. That's why Bitcoin's already sniffing this out. We can already see it heading back to 70,000. Now there's something that could, of course, knock it down. Anything could happen. But in the long run, in this next coming 12 to 14 months, I would say you have 12 to 14 months, all right, to buckle up and get ready because the rocket is fueled up. Okay, they got plenty of juice. The astronauts have all their snacks. They're ready to go. They're ready to go. They're talking to mission control. They're like, hey, launch this bad boy. We're ready. They got the helmets on. The bull market is right around the corner, and people are going to ask you a lot of questions. The main thing is to stay humble. That's what I would say, but you know what? Fuck that. Don't do that shit, okay? Flex on people just a little bit. Just flex on them a little bit like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know I tried to tell y'all. You call me a goofball. That's cool. That's cool, but I just need to let y'all know. You know what I mean? I just had to let y'all, one more, you know what I'm saying? I had to, you know what I'm saying? Hit them with something like that. But then after you're done, then tell them, hey, listen, okay, sorry for flexing on you, little bro. Now, here's where you go to buy Bitcoin. This is what you do with it. This is how you secure it. Because the main thing is you do have to educate people and try to help them, Because guess what? All the big dogs, they're going to take all the Bitcoin. All the normies are not going to have any Bitcoin. They're going to be brokies and they're going to be coping and crying. And they're probably going to blame you, okay? Even though really, it's the big dogs eating up all the Bitcoin. They're going to blame you. Why didn't nobody tell me? Why didn't nobody help me? So just be ready for that, right? And do approach it with an air of humility. You know what I mean? Like you just know something that they don't. All right. And even though they're blind to it before, they might be more open and more willing to learn about it if you have a little bit of clemency, right? And you're able to show them the importance of getting orange pilled and seeing a brighter future. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, when you tell them about Bitcoin, they're just like, oh, it's too good to be true. But once it becomes reality, they might feel like they're too late. They're going to be disillusioned. They're going to feel unmotivated. They're going to feel like they missed the boat. All right. There's going to be a lot of coping, a lot of crying. It's your job to bring the tissue and wipe their tears and then show them, hey, little buddy, there's still a chance for you, But we have to try to do that now because most people already can't afford a Bitcoin. You will never be able to afford one. I would say probably 14 months from now. If you make 60,000 a year, you will never get a Bitcoin. You will never in your life get one. 14 months from now, that's facts. So I try to get a little bit now. I'll probably try to get a little bit now. Thank you for watching. This has been Gen Z BTC. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. If you don't like something I'm saying, please let me know. Don't be a coward. Go in the comment section. Let's have a discussion. And I hope to see you guys on the next video. A lot more bangers coming. Stay tuned. See you around. Stack sats or die trying. Simple as.